Hey everybody, this is Rick. This is what I'm working on this week. I had a Hulk 181 come in. The customer wanted me to work on it. He had someone to move this little stain out from under the 181 and work on the back of the book a little. So this is what the back looked like before and after on my scanner. So I removed these stains from up here with my normal cleaner, the MacuClean. It's subtle. They're not much different. But looking at the book, the eye peel is a lot better. And let's see what else we have here. This is the before picture, and this is the before picture. That's the after picture. So they don't look a whole lot different. There were a lot of wrinkles up along the spine that I removed, and it looks wider and brighter. You can tell, but they're at the same exact settings on the scanner, so you can see. And this is the before and after of the cover. You know, it doesn't look a whole lot different, to be honest with you. I didn't get it. It would have been clean before. But this is the big thing. He wanted this material removed between this 1 and the N, and I got some of it off. So it wasn't all off, but otherwise it looked pretty good. My nerves were terrible. I did film it. I don't know if it makes a great video because it was, just me rubbing on a Hulk book with a Q-tip. So it's kind of boring. But it was difficult to remove from the CGC package. I'll show you what that looks like in a moment here. So this is the book here. It's a Hulk 181, and it was bad for my nerves on a book like that, but I did a good job. It's hard to get a book like that soaking wet and then hope it comes out okay, but it did. Next up, I have several books from a lot of people. Some I haven't opened from customers yet, but some of them in the back pile. I have these custom shop-specific variant covers of Star Wars #1 that are half kind of silver and half blue. Got a couple of those. I have Spawn #1. That's just regular basic cleaning and pressing. It's no big deal there. Star Wars Republic 52. This one doesn't even need much. Just, I guess they still want to clean and press, but it could profit from a little. This one could really profit. This is Star Wars Republic number 60. Somebody sent that to me. This one, I'll do this shit for free. This is Amazing Spider-Man 59. First Mary Jane on the cover. Some of the best Romita work ever. There's like an artificial split scene to show Mary Jane and Spidey. This is like, I ain't even charging for this one. This is an awesome book. I'm taking care of this baby for sure. It's a genuine pleasure. Even though I have several copies of this book, it's one of my favorites of all time, and I'm happy to do this. This one's fun. We have an Alpha Flight that has the Mark Jewelers thing inside. You might think, oh, that's not too difficult. What about that? But guess what? There's adhesive on these pages. And if you press it, normally you press this thing, the adhesive will stick the pages together and it will melt and you're done for. You're a goner. It's right here. It's along this edge. Historically, if you press that at even an ambient temperature, they'll stick together permanently, and it's a goner. So I will take care of that. I want to take care of this, and I'll show you how to do that in a future episode. Let's see. And then lastly, we have some storage transfer. So this says, someone wrote a note on the bag. It says, hey, there's a color transfer from a previous book. It's obviously the same book. There must have been a stack of them at the same time because it's a Superman family. And normally I wouldn't even take this job. It'd be too easy. But you can see that it's the back of this. It looks identical to this, so it was another one. They were probably stacked on top of each other. And there's ink transfer. The fun thing is to get that ink off without removing the ink below it, because it's the same ink, same period, same sizing. So how are you going to get that stinker off of there? So that's going to be fun. I can't wait to do that, because that's a genuine challenge and it should be super difficult. So that's what I want to do. These were all submitted through Russ at Mill Geek Comics in Mill Creek, Washington. And so I'm working on those at the same time I'm doing my mail-in books, which I'll show you later. Oh, I also have, I forgot to mention it, I also have a Marvel Spotlight 5 Ghost Rider. I'm going to do some staple work on this book for a customer. So those will be some upcoming things. This one could certainly profit from a pressing and cleaning. So I'll take care of that. And let's look at some notes from some customers. So we have Rick, just a quick note to tell you the cleaner is amazing. The books look so much cleaner and shinier, much better than the old eraser. Thanks so much for the products and the content. I learned so much. All the best, Arma. Now, guy doesn't send any pictures. I don't know if he could just, be saying stuff to me, but it makes me feel good. That's just a note that said, hey man, you know what? I'm super happy to hear it. I'm glad you're having a good time with it. I hope you're learning. I hope every single one of you gets better at this than me. So I'm pretty stoked. And we have a note from our old pal Steve from Sunnyvale, California, which we love Steve because he sends some of the best pictures. And he says, hi, Sir Master Rick. Hope you are well. Apologize I haven't written back sooner. And he sends some images here of some clearly rusty staples. And I think the question's coming up here, so I'll get something ready. It's amazing to hear how much you're traveling past year, blah, blah, blah. You were saying, I know you do so interested in the industry. It's completely awesome. I have had frustratingly little time to do wet cleaning and pressing all the time, and now pressing for 2 other entities. Looks like he's doing work and getting at least some comics out of it, so that's great. Now to the cool part. I had a question for you on an area I know is near and dear to your heart. I have a book that has the most minor rust on the staple. The book is The Black Panther #1 from the 70s, Jack Kirby. Oh, sweet book. Sorry that these photos appeared at the beginning of the email rather than the bottom. Writing emails from smartphones is still a elusive art for me. Yeah, I hear you, brother. Same here. The rust is such that it does not affect the integrity of the staple or have come in contact with the book itself. The centerfold has no evidence of any rust on the staples. Now the question for you is if you will provide your thoughts. I think I mentioned to you previously I have 2 low-tech techniques that I've experimented with and wanted your opinion. Which way to go? The technique #1 is dental hygienist gentle scraping of the rusted area. Technique #2, use a toothpick to carefully apply a small amount of rust remover to the rusted areas. Allow it to sit on the surface in the rust remover prescribed time, and then remove gently with a dry cloth. Perhaps DI water is needed. Technique #3, get over it and do nothing. I've attached the photo so you can take a close look at the book in question. We'll love your thoughts on this low-tech approach. And okay, so he says, I'm enjoying your updates. I must have been jealous of some of the awesome work some folks are doing, inspired by you. If only there were more hours in the weekend. Yeah, I hear you on that one too. So I have some ideas for you here. And a couple things. Let me switch to just camera mode. All right, Steve, so here's what you can do with the staples. I like the chemical way, so I'll do that way first. But you got to be careful. Super careful. Now it's better. It's better if you can at least loosen the staples and pull them out a little bit, not all the way. Now, what I mean by that is, let's see if I can find a book here. What do I got? Oh, sweet. Amazing Spider-Man. So go in on the inside of the book, and what you do is you just get this. I have a little scupula. This little tool is a little scupula, and so it's for chemicals, tiny amounts. It's called a micro scupula or micro spatula. And what you do is you pry up the staples a little bit. So finger on either side of the staple so the book doesn't move. You got to push the book down. I should probably do this on a video, and I will in the future. Slide this tool under and then just twist it in place. Twist the other staple in place. Push it out a little bit. And then you'll get the staple off the cover. The idea is just to get it away from the cover a little bit without pulling it all the way out. It's too much work. Then stick some of these things here, these little tab markers, these little post-its. Put them under the staple and fold it around, if you can imagine that. I should do this on a video, and I will someday. And this will protect the book from the chemicals, right? Then you take a very precise Q-tip. They're pointy little Q-tips. They look like this. They're called precision swabs. They're not for your ears. They're for cleaning. They have a point on them. And then you dip those in the rust cleaner, and then you wipe it off on a piece of paper, and then you rub it on the book, and you let it sit for a while. Now, what I do is I put mine on a battery. I clip, I make the inside, I make it cathodic. Sorry. So, and so what I do is I clip a little battery on it, and then I take a little staple or a paper clip, and I rub it on the other side, and I sort of electro clean it while it's still damp. That's what I do. And it comes off pretty good, actually, really fast. You'd be surprised. It kind of bubbles, in fact. The other thing you can do is do what you're saying and then take and just abrasively remove it. I take a little piece of like downy, like a dryer sheet, and wrap it around this little scupula, and then I rub it on the staple. And it will pull up some of the stuff. And then that's what you can do. I feel like I'm over-explaining this a little bit, and it could probably profit from a video. on it, electrocleaning. But if you want to use just the plain old juice, the rust remover, I wouldn't do it. It's if you get any of it on the book, it'll destroy the paper. It'll get very weak around there and just pop off the staple. Better to just use, for a cleaning solution, I literally just use salt water. I actually have a cleaner I can maybe send you. It's an electro cleaner, and it does work, and it's not too harsh on paper. It just has to have high conductivity, but you can just use regular salt water if you want. And if you're going to do electro cleaning, do that. Just get yourself a little 6-volt, like a lantern battery, and do it that way. It comes off like, you'd be surprised how much rust comes off of that thing. A ton of it. You'll see. Anyway, that's not a great help, I know, but I hope it's somewhat of a help. And one last one from my friend here, newly found friend, Florian from Austria. He says, hey, he wants to order some pressing boards, but I'm saying that I'm going to start cutting some 9x12 pressing boards instead of 12x12s. 12x12 is cheaper, and I use more of the material of a sheet of aluminum for me, so I have to do fewer cuts, because otherwise it costs me like $3 per cut extra to cut that, and I'll end up wasting a lot of the aluminum. I'm going to switch to 9x12 because that's the common size for most presses, for most comic book presses, and so I can also do a 15x15. So I'm gonna cut to those sizes. Then also he said, what's advice on what good presses are? The only big thing is I don't like presses that open like a clamshell. Like my own press is just a straight up and down kind, and that's the kind I prefer. And so there's that. He says, but what I take from your Spidey, I guess you understand. Spidey was also my first fave superhero since I read the Superman vs. Spider-Man. That was awesome. I'll never forget there's the Spider-Man's on top of this tower, and Superman comes up to him, and of course there's always a misunderstanding in every team up episode, right? Before they team up, they have to fight each other for a minute, because everybody wants to see that. And then Spider-Man punches Superman and sends him flying. But I'll never forget that it reads somewhere in that book, it says, stunned more by the fact of the blow than the force of it, Superman reels away, or something like this. And it's like, yeah, that was definitely fan service for us Spidey fans, but it was a go, and I was really happy to see that. And so anyway, Florian, yeah, I would wait, because I'm having new boards that are much thicker, and they're going to be water jet cut, and they have polished edges on them. And they'll be better at retaining heat. They'll be more even. They'll do a better job of pressing. I may replace my older, cheaper ones entirely, because these are so much better from the samples I've got. The problem is I thought I could just buy a few hundred, but I have to buy like 1,000 of them at a time, and they ain't cheap. So it's a lot of money. It's a big investment for me to cut 1,000 of these things, and hope that over the course of my lifetime I sell them all. So let's hope keep fingers crossed that goes well. So anyway, that's my video for this week, you guys. Take care. Bye-bye.